You pull out of your driveway on a bright morning, glance back at the pavement, and your heart instantly drops. Right where your car was parked, sitting directly on the concrete, is a mysterious, wet puddle. Your mind immediately starts racing through worst-case scenarios. Is it engine oil, transmission fluid, coolant? Are you about to face a $2,000 repair bill, or is your engine seconds away from seizing up on the highway? Today, we are going to break down the ultimate automotive fluid identification guide. We will cover every single color your car can leak, what fresh versus dying fluid looks like, the simple paper towel test that instantly reveals the truth, and how to spot a fatal mechanical failure before it destroys your engine. Before you touch a single wrench or call a tow truck, you need to master the simplest, most effective diagnostic tool in automotive maintenance: the white paper towel trick. When fluid drips onto a dark, dirty driveway, dusty asphalt, or stained garage concrete, the color gets distorted. Bright red transmission fluid looks black on dirty asphalt, and fresh yellow oil can blend right into dusty concrete. Whenever you spot a drip beneath your car, slide a clean white paper towel or a piece of white cardboard directly under the leak, or dab the puddle directly. A paper towel strips away the dirt of the pavement and reveals the fluid's true color, its exact viscosity, and its distinct smell. Let us start with the most critical fluid in your entire vehicle: engine oil. Engine oil is the absolute lifeblood of your internal combustion engine. It coats hundreds of rapidly moving metal components, creating a microscopic barrier that prevents metal-to-metal friction while carrying intense heat away from the pistons and crankshaft. When you pour brand new engine oil out of a sealed bottle during an oil change, its color is a clean, translucent amber or honey gold. You can easily see right through it, and it feels slick and smooth between your fingers. After you drive 500 or 1,000 miles, that honey gold color naturally shifts to a medium brown. Many drivers panic when they pull their dipstick and see dark brown oil, assuming something is terribly wrong. But brown oil is actually a sign that your oil is doing its job. Modern motor oils contain sophisticated detergent and dispersant additives. As your engine burns fuel, it creates microscopic carbon soot, varnish, and combustion byproducts. The oil actively sweeps up these contaminants, suspending them in the fluid so they do not settle on your engine bearings. However, if you pull your dipstick or dab a puddle on the ground and the oil is pitch black, thick, and gritty, your oil has reached the end of its operational life. Pitch black oil means the fluid is completely saturated with carbon, dirt, and oxidized fuel. It has lost its thermal stability and its ability to lubricate high-stress metal components. If you leave pitch black oil in your engine, it degrades into a thick, tar-like petroleum sludge that starves your valve train, clogs oil galleries, and leads to catastrophic engine failure. Now, there is one specific oil color condition that represents an absolute code red emergency: milky, frothy chocolate milk. If you pull your engine oil dipstick, remove the oil filler cap, or see an opaque, light brown fluid that looks like a milkshake or coffee with heavy cream, stop the engine immediately. This milky texture happens when engine oil mixes directly with water-based engine coolant. Because oil and water do not mix, the intense churning action of the crankshaft whips the two liquids into a thick, frothy emulsion. What causes this? In 90% of cases, milky oil means a blown head gasket. The head gasket sits as a critical seal between the engine block and the cylinder head, keeping high-pressure coolant passages completely separated from oil galleries. If the head gasket fails, often from severe engine overheating, coolant blasts directly into the oil system. Coolant completely destroys the lubricating properties of motor oil. Within just a few miles of driving with a blown head gasket, metal bearings grind against metal shafts, generating extreme friction that can destroy an entire engine block in minutes. If you see milky oil, do not drive the car, call a tow truck immediately. Moving down the drivetrain, let us analyze the second most expensive fluid to replace: automatic transmission fluid, commonly known as ATF. Automatic transmissions are engineering marvels, containing hundreds of precision planetary gears, hydraulic valves, and wet clutch packs. Unlike manual gearboxes that simply use heavy oil for lubrication, an automatic transmission uses its fluid as a hydraulic working fluid to physically shift gears, apply internal clutches, and transfer power from the engine through the torque converter. Fresh, brand-new automatic transmission fluid is dyed a distinct, translucent, bright cherry red or vivid pink. Manufacturers intentionally dye transmission fluid bright red so drivers can instantly distinguish it from motor oil or brake fluid during a leak. Fresh ATF has a slick, slightly sweet or chemical odor. If you see a bright pink or red puddle on the ground directly beneath the middle of your car or under the front axle, you are dealing with a fresh transmission fluid leak, typically coming from a pan gasket, a cooler line, or an axle seal. As automatic transmission fluid ages through thousands of miles of heat cycles, friction, and shifting, its color naturally transitions from bright cherry red to a darker maroon or deep burgundy. If your fluid is a dark burgundy color but still translucent and free of debris, it is simply showing normal wear. However, if you check your transmission dipstick or wipe a leak, and the fluid is a dark, muddy, opaque black-brown, and carries a pungent, burnt toast smell, your transmission is in serious danger. Burnt, black transmission fluid means the internal clutch packs inside your transmission have overheated and begun to strip away their friction material. The extreme heat oxidizes the fluid, turning it into an abrasive sludge. Here is a critical mechanical tip. If your transmission fluid is pitch black, smells intensely burnt, and the transmission has started slipping between gears, simply flushing in brand new fluid can sometimes make the problem worse. The heavy suspended clutch material in the old, dirty fluid might actually be providing the friction required for the worn clutch plates to grab. Flushing fresh, slippery fluid into a severely neglected, slipping transmission can cause the clutches to lose friction entirely, leaving you stranded. If your fluid is pitch black and smells burnt, have a professional transmission specialist evaluate the unit before performing a flush. Our third major category is the most colorful fluid under your hood: engine coolant or antifreeze. The cooling system's job is simple: absorb the extreme combustion heat generated by your engine cylinders, pump that heated fluid to the front radiator, and release that heat into the passing air. If you open your hood or inspect a puddle under the front bumper, you might notice that coolant comes in an entire rainbow of bright fluorescent colors. You might see neon green, bright orange, vivid pink, deep blue, dark red, or clear yellow. Why are there so many different colors of coolant? Unlike transmission fluid, which is universally dyed red, coolant colors correspond to specific chemical formulations engineered for different metallurgy inside modern engines. Bright neon green coolant is traditionally the classic inorganic additive technology, or IAT. It was the standard fluid used in most vehicles built before the mid-2000s. It uses silicates and phosphates to protect cast iron engine blocks and copper brass radiators from corrosion. Bright orange, pink, or crimson red coolants are typically organic acid technology, or OAT, or hybrid organic acid technology, known as HOAT. Modern auto manufacturers, like General Motors with Dexcool, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Ford, use these specialized formulas. They are engineered to protect lightweight aluminum cylinder heads, aluminum radiators, and nylon water pump impellers over extended service intervals. Vivid blue or yellow coolants are frequently used by Asian manufacturers like Honda, Nissan, and Subaru, optimized for high-temperature aluminum engine blocks. Here is the absolute golden rule of engine coolant: Never mix different colors of coolant together unless the bottle explicitly states it is a universal, all makes, all models formula. If you pour classic green silicate coolant into a system filled with orange or pink organic acid coolant, the two different chemical additive packages can react with each other. They form a thick, gelatinous chemical sludge that settles directly at the bottom of your radiator and heater core. This jelly-like sludge completely blocks coolant passages, starves your engine of cooling, and causes catastrophic engine overheating. Now, what if your coolant puddle is a muddy, rusty brown? If your coolant looks like dirty river water or rust-colored mud, your cooling system is corroding from the inside out. This happens when an owner fills the cooling system with plain tap water instead of distilled water, or neglects coolant changes for many years. Tap water contains minerals like calcium and iron that react with the metal inside the engine block, causing heavy internal rust and scale buildup. That rust flacking off turns the coolant brown, clogs the narrow passages inside your radiator, and eventually roves through metal frost plugs. Next, let us examine the hydraulic safety lifelines of your car: brake fluid and power steering fluid. Brake fluid operates under extreme pressure, often exceeding 1,000 pounds per square inch when you slam on the brakes. It is a specialized glycol-based hydraulic fluid designed to transfer the physical force of your foot on the brake pedal directly to the brake calipers at all four wheels. Fresh, high-quality brake fluid out of a sealed can is clear to a light amber or straw yellow color. It is thin, slightly oily to the touch, and carries a distinct, sharp chemical odor. Brake fluid possesses a unique chemical property. It is hygroscopic. This means brake fluid actively absorbs water moisture directly out of the surrounding air, even through microscopic pores in your rubber brake hoses. As brake fluid absorbs moisture over 2 or 3 years of driving, its color gradually darkens from light straw yellow to dark brown, murky green, or black. Why is dark, moisture-contaminated brake fluid dangerous? Water has a much lower boiling point than pure brake fluid. Under heavy braking, like driving down a steep mountain pass or making an emergency stop, the intense heat generated by your brake pads boils the trapped water inside your brake lines. Water turns into steam vapor. Unlike liquid, steam vapor compresses easily. When you step on the brake pedal, instead of forcing the brake calipers shut, you simply compress the steam bubbles inside the line. Your brake pedal sinks straight to the floorboard with zero stopping power, a terrifying condition known as brake vapor lock. If your brake fluid is dark brown or black, a simple brake fluid flush every 2 to 3 years completely restores your braking power and protects your expensive ABS hydraulic pumps from internal rust. Power steering fluid, on the other hand, powers your hydraulic steering rack. In many vehicles, power steering fluid is simply clear hydraulic oil or standard red ATF. Fresh power steering fluid is clear, light amber, or pinkish red. As the mechanical power steering pump wears down over time, tiny bits of rubber from internal high-pressure hoses degrade and float through the system. If your power steering fluid turns dark brown or pitch black, and your steering wheel makes a loud whining or groaning sound when turning at low speeds, the fluid has degraded, and the pump is struggling to push hydraulic pressure. Finally, let us address 2 clear fluid scenarios that confuse millions of drivers: pure water and fuel leaks. You come out to your car on a hot 90-degree afternoon, look underneath the passenger side floorboard area, and spot a massive, steady puddle of completely clear, odorless liquid rapidly pooling on the pavement. Before you panic, touch the fluid and smell it. If it is crystal clear, completely odorless, feels like plain tap water and evaporates quickly, your car is completely fine. This is simple water condensation coming from your air conditioning evaporator core. As your AC system pulls heat and humidity out of your car's interior cabin, moisture condenses on the cold metal fins behind your dashboard, draining harmlessly onto the ground through a rubber tube under the car. The hotter and more humid the weather, the larger this water puddle will be. However, if you see a clear fluid dripping near the rear of the car, or under the engine bay that carries a sharp, overwhelming chemical smell of raw gasoline or diesel fuel, this is an immediate fire hazard. Gasoline is a clear or slightly yellowish, highly volatile solvent that evaporates almost instantly on a warm surface, leaving behind a strong, unmistakable vapor smell. A fuel leak typically stems from a rusted fuel line, a cracked quick connect fitting, or a failing fuel injector seal. Because gasoline vapors can ignite from a single spark from your exhaust or electrical system, never start or drive a vehicle that is actively leaking raw fuel. By keeping a simple roll of paper towels in your trunk and taking 5 minutes to inspect your fluid colors during routine maintenance, you can catch mechanical issues while they are still cheap, minor fixes. You will protect your vehicle's engine and transmission, keep your family safe on the road, and never get taken advantage of at a repair shop again.